Hello and welcome back to Firestorm Games and another episode of the Hobby Table. In this video we're going to be taking a look inside the new Akhelian Leviadon box. We're going to be building up this miniature and I'm going to be talking about it as we do so. So let's get started and get this box opened. The first thing that you'll see inside the box is the instruction booklet, which is pretty much a standard Games Workshop assembly guide. All of the components are numbered as they are on the sprue, so assembly is very easy because you can find the components very easily indeed. Everything's full colour as well, so you know exactly where you need to apply your glue and which components are optional, and also in the back we get some rules for using the Leviadon in games of Age of Sigmar. So in this box set we also get a large oval base as well as a clear plastic flying stand, which makes sense because the Leviadon is a flying creature. And finally we have the sprues themselves, and this kit is spread over 2 large sprues, and what we're going to be doing now is actually building this miniature up and talking about the options that we get in the set and also the miniature itself. So first of all, let's talk about customization options. Now the Leviadon doesn't really come with much in the way of customization apart from 2 different heads to choose from. You can afford some posability to the arms, you can move them up and down slightly, they do have slight ball and socket joints. Now the crew and the platform which they stand upon do have a few more customization options. The Mahar, which is the guy in charge of the Leviadon, does have a couple of head options, and there's also a number of extra components such as stowage gear and other items that you can spread around your miniature as you see fit. However, if you were to field multiple Leviadons in your force, you would probably want to paint them in different colours in order to give them a little bit of distinction between them. So let's talk about the kit itself. As you can probably see, the components to actually build the Leviadon are quite large. The shell is a single piece, the underside of the shell is also a single piece as well, and also the fins don't require any assembly, so there's very little in the way of mold lines and seams that you have to worry about, which is nice considering some of these larger creatures do have the problems of mold lines and seams, and especially on more organic beings such as this, they are often more prominent. Having large components like this also shaves down the assembly times. You don't need to assemble lots of fiddly different components in order to get the larger creature built. In fact, one of the things I really do like about the Leviadon is there isn't really much in the way of connection between the platform that sits on top and the shell of the Leviadon itself, which means if you did want to field this as a single unit, a conversion for something else, you could easily do so by only filling in 2 gaps on either side of the shell. So one thing we haven't yet talked about is the aesthetics of the Leviadon, and personally I think this creature is fantastically sculpted. It looks really nice. At first I wasn't really too sure about the giant flying turtle thing, it just seemed a bit out of place, but considering the rest of the Idoneth Deepkin stuff, it kind of is explained in the lore how all of these sea creatures are flying around, but it actually does really work nicely and gives these miniatures a very nice centerpiece miniature. The detailing that we have on the shell of the Leviadon is excellent. We have these small barnacles, the sculpting that we have for the scales on its fins and on its face as well is really excellent. It kind of takes away from like the snapping turtles, those kind of creatures, and basically gives it a more fantastical appearance and emphasizes some of those features. The howdah, or the platform that sits atop of the Leviadon, is very reminiscent of the Mumakil from Lord of the Rings. In fact, it is bristling with weaponry. We've got harpoons, harpoon launchers. We've even got the guy at the back who's playing the drums to keep the beat of the actual Leviadon going. So it's a very, very nice and very characterful looking piece. I also like the sculpting that we have in the actual platform itself. It looks like it's been grown from coral, which is very fitting with the nautical theme that the Idoneth Deepkin have. So whilst I think overall this kit is a very interesting one to look at, it's a very nice centerpiece miniature for your army, there are a few drawbacks, and one of those is the options that you actually get for the miniature itself. There isn't much in the way of customization, but it would have been nice to see some different weapon options that you could mount on the top platform apart from just the harpoon launchers. Often these big kits do have some sort of alternate build or different weapon options that you can choose from, so this isn't just from a miniature point of view, also from a gameplay point of view as well. We are very much lacking in the options that we can choose from here. So now that we've had a good chance to talk about the miniature and also see it being built, let's get it finished and take a look at the finished model. And here we have the fully assembled Akhelian Leviadon. Now if you're interested in picking one of these up for yourself, it is available on the Firestorm Games web store for £63, which is a 10% saving off the £70 RRP. So what I'll do is I'll include a link to this miniature in the description below, where you can pick it up directly from the Firestorm Games web store. If you enjoyed this video, please do let us know in the comments below, and also make sure you subscribe to be kept up to date with all of our latest videos. And so we just want to finish off by saying a huge thank you for coming and watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.